Bong Han. Being thrust into the position of a pioneer is not for someone who is weak of heart. It takes someone with brute determination, a very thick skin, and an unstoppable initiative, regardless of the cost. A pioneer is someone who has created a new path because there was none to follow. By choice, Hapkido legend Bong Han became that individual. He was born in South Korea during the Japanese occupation in 1933, when all school children were required to study Japanese forms of martial arts. It was then that Bong Han began his introduction into the martial arts world. By 1948, the occupation had already ended, and by this time, Han had gained a vast amount of martial arts knowledge. Bong Han found himself enrolled in the Korean art of Hapkido, learning under its founder, Yang-sul Choi. Eventually, becoming his senior student, Han and Yang-sul Choi took part in establishing the first Hapkido school in the country's capital city of Seoul. Han later formed his own school in Seoul. After time, Han became one of the most influential teachers in the Korean Hapkido Association and quickly became its biggest advocate. Bong Han's skill was so impressive that he was called upon to teach the Korean military and Presidential Guard. Han's name and influence eventually landed him a position as an instructor for the U.S. security team for 6 years. To continue to introduce Hapkido to both the U.S. and all of Korea, Bong Han became part of a demonstration team for American and Korean military audiences. For the next 6 years, Han stood as Hapkido's primary spokesperson, continually promoting the development of the art. In 1967, he decided to join his longtime friend C.O. Choi in America, assisting him in teaching Hapkido. A year after coming to America, Bong Han opened a school on the West Coast. Unfortunately, hardly anyone had heard of the term Hapkido, so getting a school off the ground proved to be nearly impossible. As he did in Korea, Bong Han had to start at the beginning to enlighten the Western world about the art he loved so much. Once again, taking the mantle of the art, Bong Han continued his journey promoting Hapkido through demonstrations and seminars. However, it was not long until he was seen by an actor named Tom Laughlin, who was very impressed by Han's amazing abilities. Laughlin wanted to change the format of movie making and, for the first time ever, wanted to make martial arts a focal point of a movie. He called the film Billy Jack. Han doubled for Laughlin and performed all of the kicks and stunts. It was through the attention of this film that Bong Han was able to fully open the doors of Hapkido to America. Billy Jack proved to be the flagship film to launch the biggest and greatest martial arts boom in history. As a result, Han was able to use this opportunity to aggressively promote Hapkido throughout the nation and the world. For his efforts and his dedication over the last 60 years of promoting the arts, the martial arts community considered Bong Han the father of Hapkido in America.
Panther Productions is proud to present Grandmaster Bong Han in this exclusive video interview. Grandmaster Bong the father of Hapkido, is one of the world's most respected and recognized martial artists. A man of many achievements, he is considered a true pioneer in the Western world for bringing the martial art of Hapkido to America from Korea in the early 60s and helping to make it popular worldwide through his teachings, demonstrations, and film appearances. In 1971, cinematic history was made when Grandmaster Han was asked to create and perform the fight scenes for the movie Billy Jack. Grandmaster Han's exceptional realistic Hapkido techniques so captivated the audience that he is credited with helping to make Billy Jack one of the most popular and highest grossing films of all time. Grandmaster Han continues to appear in films, teach Hapkido at his school in Santa Monica, California, and preside as president and founder of the International Hapkido Federation. It is a great honor to have Grandmaster Han with us today. Welcome, Grandmaster Han.
Thank you
for coming. Let's start at the beginning. Where were you raised, and when did you first get started in the martial arts?
I was born in Seoul, Korea. First introduced martial art was 1943 when Japanese occupied Korea. I was grammar school, and at the time, all this grammar school from 4th degree and up, we train kendo and judo.
Japanese arts or Korean arts?
Yes, Japanese art. That's why we call it kendo and judo.
So this was implemented by the Japanese during the occupation?
And then after World War II was over, 1945, and in roughly about 1946, I started called Kung Fu Do, presently called Taekwondo. I trained there for about roughly 2.5 to 3 years, and Korean War happened.
Yes.
So I have to start it. I have to stop for a while because of that war. And then 1953, when Korean War ceased, and then I was introduced to Hapkido.
Wow, and how were you introduced to Hapkido?
Actually, a friend of mine asked me to go see something he never seen before. First, I didn't believe that. And then he asked me again. So I went to see that little small place where, the founder was teaching over there. I was very impressed with the beauty and depth of the Hapkido philosophy. And so...
That was your introduction to Hapkido. You
Yes.
saw the demonstration. And what was it about the techniques and philosophy that was different than what you were learning?
What I learned is mostly like develop your power, speed, and then certain way of a strike. Hapkido does that too, but what's the difference is when you face your opponent, you never first against first to stop your opponent. Always observe your power and redirect them.
So you more or less wait for your opponent to move first.
Yes.
In Hapkido, as opposed to being aggressive.
Yes, it's sort of harmonize with your opponent.
Right.
And then use his force instead of against him.
So is Hapkido similar to Aikido, using the force against the opponent?
Yes, very similar.
I see.
Very similar, but only thing difference between Aikido and Hapkido is once we take him down, if we have to, we finish right there.
Oh. With the finishing technique,
Yeah.
if he keeps his aggression going.
Right, and the difference between Aikido and Hapkido is we use strong blows, chops, do the kicks.
Grandmaster, what was it like training when you were a student?
The training was very rigorous. Nothing like it is now, here today.
Mm-hmm.
At times, sometimes we train outdoors in the winter below 0 degrees.
Wow.
On our bare feet. Often he would show us a technique only one time and leave us to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't really ask questions or talk back. So we had to pay very close attention.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm teaching now, I have to explain every details, like how you stand, how to step to the side and move your hand along with you certain ways. No such a things.
Not in the early days, huh?
No. And then if you don't figure out, if you don't learn that techniques, we couldn't get any new lessons for sometimes a month.
Wow. Grandmaster, are there weapons in Hapkido that students learn?
Yes.
What are they?
The first weapon we teach is a small little ball called tan bong. Tan means short, bong means stick. And then also we teach not the weapon itself, but defense against knife attack. And also we teach cane techniques.
Oh, that were made famous in the trial of Billy Jack.
Yes, I use that in picture. And also we use 장봉, which means long stick fights. But I don't emphasize on these weapons too much because we have to learn so much with our own body.
Right. Grandmaster, can anyone learn Hapkido?
Yes, everybody can learn Hapkido if they have willpower, commitment, and dedications. But I don't want them to expect to learn Hapkido within a day. It's going to take their lifetime to learn.
At your demonstration, I met some of your black belts who have been with you 20 years. That's
Over
fantastic.
20 years.
Wow, I mean, that dedication is very hard to find in students today.
No, especially in this country.
It's really hard to find.
Stay with the one master
Right.
for that long years. Very few.
They're very fortunate to have you as an instructor.
I am fortunate to have that kind of students in this country.
Grandmaster, what makes a good martial arts instructor? Not just Hapkido, but any martial art.
In general,
Yes?
good martial arts instructor must have enthusiasm, dedication, and integrity, as well as a deep and broad knowledge of art, but also the ability to inspire the students to reach their goals. And depends on the instructor's ability to inspire. It takes thousands of students to make one good instructor.
I know. And Hapkido, it was popularized through the movies with you, but you don't see a lot of schools throughout the world. I mean, I know there's many, but not as much as Taekwondo or Karate. Why is that?
Because of the techniques what we teach thousands of techniques. It's not like other martial art. They learn so many and then they can be able to teach right away. Just up to first degree black belt. It takes so many techniques. Not only learn the techniques, you have to master and make it your own to be able to teach other people. That's one disadvantage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's the total dedication, and it seems like a pretty strong, rugged martial art because of the falling and that. I don't think a lot of people want to train that hard.
I put it this way. Martial art, it's not like any other sport. In order to master defense against any situation, you have to learn all different aspects. Mm-hmm. Folds and kicks, defense against kicks, folds, punches. Mm-hmm. So before you make up your mind to join martial art, you have to research. Or also you have to know, what would you like to be? What would you like to learn?
Grandmaster Han, you are president and founder of the International Hapkido Federation. Please tell us about the benefits of being a member.
Okay, the International Hapkido Federation is based upon the traditional Hapkido philosophies and training method. Mm-hmm. It was established to teach its students a way of life, and it's the world's leading Hapkido organization intended to unify the instruction and standardize the practice of Hapkido.
Now, is the federation, is that open to only Hapkido practitioners or other martial arts as well?
Now I'm going to open to all the martial art people. Mm-hmm. It's about time to share my knowledge with other people. If they are willing to join us, to if they have enough, I'm only accept schools, not individually.
Oh, I see. So mm-hmm. Schools can join, but not individually.
No, not individually. If I accept them as individuals, there's no way I can teach them.
Right.
I only teach instructors based on school, and then I can give them a seminar with the school students.
Mm-hmm. So if let's say, Shotokan instructor mm-hmm. wanted to come under your banner and learn Hapkido, he could achieve his black belt through your testing and
yes.
Stuff like that mm-hmm. and teach Hapkido?
Yes, let him teach his style.
Yes.
On the other hand, he could learn our styles, and then he could start to teach Hapkido. But someday, hopefully, he can master Hapkido techniques. So either he can switch it over Hapkido, or he can teach both same time, all the way.
Master, this is very exciting because now that you've opened the doors to knowledge, these people, I'm sure, are very hungry for these outstanding Hapkido techniques.
Yes, I felt it's kind of, you're never late. Mm-hmm. But I still like to expand these worldwide. Mm-hmm. But I would like to teach the traditional, like I mentioned earlier, the philosophy, basic philosophies, mm-hmm. strong philosophy.
Grandmaster, through the Federation, are you available for seminars to travel throughout the world and teach yourself?
Yes, I'm willing to give a seminar to anywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. If they let me know ahead of time, if they organize the proper way.
Yes.
I'm more than happy to get up there and then give my knowledge, share with them.
Grandmaster, what do you feel is your biggest accomplishment in the martial arts?
I think I have inspired many martial artists and also non-martial artists too. I think that's... big accomplishment, for one person.
Yes, your demonstrations of Hapkido to the public and in movies, I bet have brought in thousands of martial artists, people who would have never studied, but you just gave them a vision of what they could possibly do someday.
And then hundreds of articles through magazines.
You've been on the cover of every major magazine, featured in the Encyclopedia of the Martial Arts. And do you get a lot of fan mail? Do people show up at your door?
Oh yes, from all over the world.
Yes.
And before communist countries, how to put it, just fell down. I got a letter from even communist countries.
Russia?
And Hungary and Holland and everywhere in the world.
All wishing to study with you?
And they just to meet me because sometimes they couldn't stay here to train. But some people from other country or to move here to train. Even as a matter of fact, right now I have several people train with me from Europe.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
And what does it take to get a black belt in Hapkido? Give me an example. What belt colors and requirements are there?
The requirements are start from white belt, which is 10th grade, going up to first grade, which is the red belt. In between there's so many different color belts. But I should say just first degree, 10th degree, 9, 8, 7 comes up to first degree to test for the first degree black belt. That takes average 4 to 5 years.
Grandmaster Han, please explain how people will benefit from your 10-tape video series with Panther.
This is the first time traditional Hapkido principles and techniques can be learned step by step to the public internationally. Never been done.
I know. Why have you waited, Master?
Well, so many reasons. I would like to put these techniques the way I would like to be. So it has organized, like I said, step by step from beginning to end.
So it covers white to black belt requirements.
Right.
Now, if a student or instructor were to purchase them, he could study many of these techniques and correspond with the Federation and come and study with you?
And then if they don't understand certain things, obviously, they have lots of questions.
Right.
Then I could go there, either they could come to our place.
So the videos will probably help to standardize your techniques.
It's going to be like a standard instructional tape. I think it's going to be very good for all the martial artists.
Grandmaster, in what year did you decide to come to the U.S. and why?
I've been thinking about going to somewhere before come to United States. Reason for that is I would like to expand Hapkido throughout the world. So I have to research, analyze. This is biggest country in the world, most powerful country in the world. That's why I picked this United States.
So your mission was to come and teach Hapkido.
Yes.
And where did you first arrive when you came?
Los Angeles.
Did you know anybody?
Yes, friend of mine. How do I put it? He lived here before I did.
And did you speak English?
Yes, a little, and be able to communicate.
Mm-hmm. Was America what you expected at that time?
I didn't know too much about the United States. So it wasn't easy, let's put it that way. No.
And so what happened when you first got here? Did you get a job or did you open a school? What did you do?
Yes, I opened up a school. The area is very poor.
For the better rent, maybe?
No, I didn't know better.
Oh.
Like I said, I didn't know anything about the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know better where to open the school. So I found someone already opened that school and closed down.
I see.
So I had, without propped any money to fix that school and then open up a school there. But let me explain about how hard I've been through. I had very few people around there can afford to train, even though I charge very little money.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, a young boy, he staring, through window.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked him if he was interested in studying. He said yes, but that he didn't have any money. So I offered to train, him in exchange of a cleaning studio.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't last a week. So I couldn't support myself, so I had to work for a factory from early in the morning to about 4 in the afternoon, and then I got to go to studio to teach.
Wow, that's a heavy schedule.
Mm-hmm. And so, at the time, I had to think, it's got to be better than here. So I asked one of my students, research for me, which area is better, and especially the people who involved with the motion picture. So I moved to Pacific Palisades.
Oh, it's a good area for movie business.
Yes.
So in the back of your mind, you had thoughts of possibly performing in movies?
Yes, 2 reasons. One, when I was young, I watched a lot of, many American pictures, especially action pictures.
Yeah.
The way the action in movie wasn't impressive. So I thought I could do better.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That was one reason. The other reason is maybe the film industry could just spread out the rest of the world, just like within a year or so. That's why I have in mind to move into movie industry people who live there.
Oh, interesting. Now, you opened in Pacific Palisades. Was that school successful?
It was very successful.
And how did you let people know in America that you were teaching Hapkido? Because back then, in the early 70s or late 60s.
No, that was late 60s.
Yeah, there were very few schools, very few people knew about the martial arts.
Right. So what I did was I gave a demonstration to the public.
Mm-hmm.
They were fascinated by, the demo, but they thought that the only special people for the train.
Only special people could do it?
Yeah. So it took some time to convince these people to study.
Oh. It probably looked too complicated at the time, but...
It is very complicated.
Yeah. Because Hapkido is a very involved martial art.
Yes, it is.
Break falling, kicks, punches, blocks, knife techniques.
All round cover.
Did you have other Korean instructors to come and help you from Korea, or were you all alone?
I was alone.
Wow, that's quite a mission you were on. Grandmaster, wasn't it at one of your live demonstrations in California where you met Tom Laughlin, the actor, star of Billy Jack?
It was 1969, July 4th.
Well, you remember the day exactly?
Oh yes, I never forget. I was in parade with open car, the first time as an Oriental here in Western, I think. Then after that, I gave a demonstration at Pacific Palisades Park. There were a few hundred people around there. When I gave a demonstration, they were very impressed. Impressed. And then we finished. About a week later, I got a phone call from some studio, movie studio. He said he was there with his family. He saw the demo. He's ready to make a action motion picture. He asked me, "Are you interested in?" So I would like to know more about this. So I invited him to come to the studio. So he came to my place with his wife. And he explained about the Billy Jack.
The script and everything?
No, at the time, just briefly how he's gonna do. And he's been interviewing a lot of martial artists. But the day he was watching the demo, he was impressed, especially the audience reaction. So he said, if I can put that scene into my movie is going to be the same thing. So there we verbally agree. I didn't know anything about Hollywood contract, anything like this.
You learned fast.
It took a long time.
Tell us, what did he offer you in Billy Jack? Fight choreographer or to train him? What was that about?
Both. Train him, and then same time, he asked me if I can choreograph for the fight sequences. I said, anytime.
Did he want you to double for him also?
At the beginning, he didn't say that. But we all know it takes many years to, achieve something. He has to go to location at the time, but roughly about 6 months later. So you can imagine, within 6 months, you can do all that action in Billy Jack. It was impossible. But he already had that in mind. So I taught him, I stages, I double every single movement.
Grandmaster, when he came to you to talk about adding martial arts to Billy Jack, was that a decision he made when he saw the demo and thought this would be great for Billy Jack, or was he thinking about it before that Billy Jack would know martial arts?
He made one picture called Bone Loser.
I remember, yeah.
He said he used one chop or two in that picture. People were fascinated by even that. So he had the plan to use martial art into Billy Jack picture. But he interviewed a lot of people, but he never be able to find someone until he saw the demo.
And what happened after that? You signed a contract to do Billy Jack and you went to location?
Like I said, we have a verbal agreement.
Oh, verbal.
And so I had to go away for several months.
To do Billy Jack?
Right. And so I give up school too.
You close the school to do the
I give it to someone else because there's a new school someone had to teach there all the time.
Right.
I was the only instructor there, so nothing I can do about it, so I have to give up, and then someone else took it over.
Right.
And then we went to Prescott, Arizona.
What year?
That's 1969. I think it's about somewhere around October.
Now, were you starting to understand the movie, the characters more, Billy Jack? Did you start to envision Billy Jack the way he would move and, you know, the type of person he was? Did you believe in the script?
Yeah, script was beautiful. I like that script very much.
Did you sense something big was going to happen with this movie, or you didn't know?
I didn't know, honestly. I didn't know. And then also, I planned certain way. I had a big hope for that too. So I sit down for days and months, plan exactly how we're gonna do it. And when I went to location, there's no stuntmen.
No stunt people at all?
No. So I had to get local people.
Wow. You mean inexperienced local people to
Right.
assist them?
They have no experience whatsoever. No movies, no martial arts, and no sports.
And you had to work with them with the reaction to the techniques? And
Yeah, I had to train with them for only 3 days. Even 3 days, during daytime they had to work. So at night, I met them at the YMCA. So I used a method over there to show them how they're going to be react.
so you only worked 3 days rehearsal with these people for those incredible fight scenes?
Yes, it took 3 days to train these people.
But let's back up a little bit, and how long did it take you to choreograph in your mind what you wanted to see, or was it all impromptu? Was it ad-libbed?
No, ever since he approached me, from the day I'm beginning to visualize about scene by scene, and then any place, any location, all I have to do is just change it around to fit into that situation.
Grandmaster, the first fight scene in Billy Jack occurs inside the soda fountain. Let's take a look.
I just go piss.
Grandmaster, tell us about that fight scene. How did you choreograph it, put it together? Tell us everything.
Well, first of all, the place is too narrow. And then, like you see, there's several Indian kids there. And addition to that, the Billy Jack wears a cowboy booth. So I have to figure out some way without running around too much. So I just use one kick to get rid of someone, and then use chops to handle.
Now, are you the one who did the kick? Did you double for him on that
Yeah,
kick?
just one kick.
Yes.
I double for him, and then I show him what to do with the hands.
Now, how long did it take to set up and film that whole scene?
That takes about only about 3-4 hours.
And how many takes?
But I think that's about two to three takes.
And that's all?
Oh, yes.
That was the first introduction of Hapkido to the world, that one scene. That's the movie. Now, you know, he defends himself, protects the kids, and he decides you know, there's going to be trouble outside. He takes his boots off. You have a little story about the boots. Why were they taken off?
Yeah. To fight realistically with that boots, it's going to be slow me down.
Oh, it would slow you down, the cowboy boots. It would be hard
Yeah,
for you.
because I'm not used to Western boots. So I suggest is any way we can get rid of it. So easy, we can just remove this booth.
So off come the boots and socks, and then he heads to
Right.
his Jeep. And of course, the Jeep won't run. They vandalized it, and then he goes into the park. And now we come to the famous mass attack in the park. So please tell us about that whole scenario.
Yeah. I arrange people to stand certain way to hide behind the tree or behind the bench, or someone sit like, to come down to park to relax.
So they keep coming out as he walks,
Right.
one by one. Why did
So-
you do that?
That way, in a way, he tried to avoid these fights as much as he can.
I see.
At the same time, he would like to lead these people to certain way so he can be able to handle all these people.
So he's more or less setting them up as he's walking.
Yes.
I see.
And then, as you see the portion of the character's name, he came and pulled in with a car.
Right.
And then that they call Billy Jack kick later.
Yeah.
In the crossing kicks.
When he came up face to face with Billy Jack.
Right.
Now, how did the crescent kick, I'm going to take my right foot and whop you on the side of your head, how did that all come about?
While I was showing him what kind of technique I'm going to do, I taught him something you never seen. Most kicks you never seen, but this one, we face to face so close each other. I could kick you or that chick before you move anything.
So you told this to Tom Laughlin,
Yeah.
standing close to him. You said, if I wanted to, I could kick you in the head. And,
Right.
And that's stuck in his mind, right?
Yeah, so that right away, that dialogue over there, he made it instantly right there.
Oh,
It was in a script.
oh, really? So that whole
No.
scene he created from your suggestion that you
Right.
could kick him standing close.
Right. And then also, because of I wear, cowboy hat, take a shot from above so they can see my face.
Right. So the hat was just a great prop.
Oh, yes.
Now, who suggested the shot from above?
I suggest them because otherwise, from behind, you are not see how close they are.
Right.
Or sideways, then you see my face. So I said, the only way you can do is a wall shot. So you can see my face, and then also you see how close each other.
And like you said, that became known as the Billy Jack kick. Let's look at the entire scene right now.
You know what I think I'm going to do then? Just for the hell of it.
Tell me.
I'm going to take this right foot, and I'm going to whop you on that side of your face. And you want to know something? There's not a damn thing you're going to be able to do about it.
Really?
Really?
Kill that Indian son of a bitch.
That was incredible, Master. What memories, Billy Jack. I mean, that scene, is a classic.
It was exactly 26 years ago.
How do you feel when you see that?
Well, I don't know. At the time, I staged much better than what just we saw.
Oh, you had
And-
more techniques?
Oh yes. So I would like to see exactly how opponent approach you and how I deflect each individually and go one person to next.
So you had more takes and more angles?
Yes, details.
And what
with the
happened?
master shots.
They cut a lot out?
No, that's not that. He said with the low budget,
Low budget, huh?
we can afford to do those things for many days.
But it's still sensational for the amount of time and money
Oh,
that
yes.
the movie had. Tell us more about the scene as it goes on, some of the techniques.
Well, it was winter time. It's not summertime.
It's pretty cold in
yeah,
Prescott,
we took
Arizona.
the winter time.
Yeah.
And they once it cut out, I don't know why, but I throw one person into that little, that fountain over
Yeah,
there.
uh-huh.
But I didn't see that scene anymore. And also, since we were doing barefoot, I had to stay all day long with the barefoot. It's so cold.
Yeah.
I pulled my back.
You pulled your back out?
Yeah, first time it happened to me.
Oh, boy.
Excuse me. Even though we have blankets, go out there, the grass is so cold, icy.
Yeah.
And there's not enough time for me to warm up and then go act and come back. Because setting the camera, it takes about an hour.
I know.
Then action takes about only several minutes, and the cut to move to next scene.
Right.
It wasn't easy.
And you're doing the spinning back kick, you're doing the technique where you block and drive his head into the wall. All the kicks you're doing. Now,
Well, every movement, all the kicks, it's me. Other than couple chops.
and what about that scene, that spinning back kick where you caught the guy
Oh,
here?
yeah.
Now, is it true he sued the film
Yeah,
company because you hit him so hard?
Two people sue me.
Two?
Not sue me,
Right.
sue company.
Which two were they?
One, the spinning kick to,
Right, the arm.
arm, and the other one I kicked to
The
you know,
face. The
yeah,
front kick to the
front.
face.
He didn't break his teeth, anything like that, but he sued, those two sue.
Because they got a little bruised up, huh?
Yeah.
So it was pretty rough out there, huh?
Yes, it was. And then also, I taught him exactly how you move, but they were so scared.
Yeah,
Sometimes they, freeze. Sometimes they move in.
right. Their timing wasn't too
No.
accurate, was it?
Now, if you work with the professional stuntmen, you have no problems whatsoever.
Right. How long did it take to film that classic fight scene?
That's 3 days.
And at the time, Billy Jack preceded Enter the Dragon. I mean, it took off like wildfire, and I'm sure it's responsible for bringing in thousands of people into the martial arts.
When I was traveled to promote Billy Jack, everywhere I go, local martial art people. When I invite them to theater, their response was, then after they saw the picture, their attitude was day and night.
And you became a celebrity along with the movie. I mean, weren't you asked to do other films and things like that?
Yes, ever since that, a lot of fan letter went to that company, Billy Jack company.
Oh, yeah?
And so the producer, he thought about that. Maybe I can use him, a real person, into next picture, which is Trial Billy Jack.
Right, where you had a starring role.
That's co-starring role.
And it was because of the reaction, such an outpouring to you.
Uh-huh.
And tell us about the trial of Billy Jack. How did that come about?
After successful first picture, now he has plenty of production money. And let's not talk about the salaries. But I staged a lot of things. And on the way to location, he said, I'm the star. I'm the leading nose. I should do those techniques instead of you do my, I should do that.
Oh, he wanted the better techniques.
And so, okay, that's no problem. But I want you to understand too, I am supposed to be a master in this picture. So we kind of compromise about that too.
But Billy Jack, the trial of Billy Jack was very popular, but Billy Jack, nothing could top it. And what is it about Billy Jack? What is it about those fight scenes that made it such a sensation? I mean, there's thousands of martial arts movies. What was it about Billy Jack? Was it the story and everything coming together, or?
Obviously, partially story too. But once you built into certain climax, you gotta have a right tool to blow up. Exciting way.
Right.
Because it never been shown to any public, especially through film. That's why it was so successful.
Isn't that the first time Hapkido was shown on a grand scale?
Yes. Before then, no one knows about Hapkido. That's why I use Trial Billy Jack from Hapkido Master, from Korea,
Right.
Hapkido Master. I, stress about Hapkido.
Grandmaster, please tell us about your involvement with the hit movie Force 5, starring Benny the Jet, Joe Louis.
Production side, the people who made Enter the Dragon, producer, director, they are team.
Same
Talk to
people.
me about that. It was fun though, because I work with all the martial artists, nothing but martial artists. It was fun. But unfortunately, while we were promoting this picture, the company, filed a bankruptcy.
Oh,
So you stopped it.
stop the promotion?
Stopped the show.
Oh, really?
The public. So that's it. And another picture I like about is the Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky
with,
Fried Movie is a classic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a spook of Enter the Dragon.
Right.
It was fun to work with that crews, especially director John Landis. And
He went on to be quite a big name as a director.
oh
huh?
yes, it is one of the biggest.
What was he like?
director.
What was he like to work with?
Very fun.
Yeah.
He always make me laugh. Even serious scene. So a nice person though, very nice person.
And what do you feel would make the ultimate martial arts movie?
We have to have the philosophy. Instead of action, sake of action. That's why most pictures are meaningless, just violent.
Yeah.
If you have good story behind, then if you use just one blow, it's going to be much more effective than you fight 100 people, come right back and right back.
Yeah.
That's why I would like to make something message picture.
Grandmaster, in closing, what words of advice do you have to all the martial artists and your fans throughout the world?
Well, train daily with your whole heart, and not just the technically. The technical aspects are important, but without the philosophy and spirituality, the entire martial arts become meaningless and just a dangerous sport.
Thank you, Master.
Thank you.